What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be talking about the Canon RF 35mm 1.8 IS. That's a mouthful. This is one of the only non-L series lenses for the RF mount right now. There is one more. This lens is honestly a beast. It's tiny, it's super small, it's super compact, goes down to 1.8. I think it's the only 35mm that goes with IS from Canon. In my personal opinion, I think this is an amazing everyday lens and just a walk around lens. You know, you set it on your camera, forget it. It pairs up perfectly with the Canon RP, in my opinion. The 35mm lens gives you a nice field of view as well as built-in IS, which this is absolutely amazing. It also comes with a 52mm filter thread, and until you get the lens, the front element's super tiny. It's maybe like a 30mm filter, but they expanded that a little bit. It also doesn't come with a lens hood, which is kind of odd. I wish they would have included it, because doesn't it come with a lens hood? But Canon has been notorious for not including lens hoods unless it's an L series lens. But for me personally, I don't even really use lens hoods. Don't even keep them in my bag. I just leave them at home, forget them, leave them in the box. That way when I resell lenses, then I can get the most money for it and I don't lose them. The filter thread is also really tiny if you compare it to the RF 15 to 35, which is 82mm, which is a lot more massive. So a lot of people have been saying that when you're shooting with the 35mm lens, that it's extremely noisy. And in my personal opinion, that's just not true. Unless you're shooting like a wedding or something that's absolutely silent, you're not really going to hear it. If you're out and about doing your thing, then you're not going to really hear the lens focusing. I honestly think that even if you do hear it, you're not going to hear it for a long time because it's pretty fast focusing, in my personal opinion. Getting good results with this lens is honestly super easy, especially with the face and eye autofocus now. You could just point it in the general direction, set it, forget it, and it will be in focus. Also, you can use this lens as a macro lens. In my opinion, it's too wide of a lens to get any real decent macro shots, but it does come with IS, so you can get that super buttery B-roll if this is your only other lens that you do have. Overall, I think this is an amazing lens, especially with the price coming in at $500 US or $650 Canadian. That this is a super cheap option, especially if you pick it up on the used market. You know, you could probably save $100 or $200, making this a super good pickup, in my opinion. It's also the cheapest RF lens that you can buy, and it does pack a punch. With this lens being a 35mm 1.8, it's a direct competitor is the 35mm 1.4, which everybody loves and raves on about. So with these two lenses side by side, the 35-1.4 has the better low light capabilities with that extra creamy background, but the 35-1.8 comes with IS built in as well as that control ring, which honestly, in my opinion, comes in super handy. Who is this lens for? Is it right for you? And in my personal opinion, if you're a traveler and you're traveling a lot and you're trying to keep that weight down, or you're just looking for a lens that's going to be your everyday carry and just set it, forget it, or you don't have a 35mm lens currently, this lens is going to be ideal. If you have a 35mm lens already, then I would suggest you not getting this lens because you already have one that's very similar with a wider aperture. If you're moving over to all RF glass, then I honestly would say definitely pick up the lens because it just makes it that much easier, especially since you don't need the adapter. You don't really want to have to bring that adapter just for one lens. In my opinion, if you're shooting a lot of video, then it does make sense. Those are just my thoughts. Take it as it is. These are my final thoughts. If you already have a 35mm lens, then I would just say skip this lens unless you're planning to switch over all your gear to RF gear, which then it makes sense because you don't want to bring the adapter everywhere. Or if you're just looking for like a cheap little lens that you can throw on like a Canon RP, or you are a traveler, then this lens is honestly perfect. It's beautiful, and I would suggest you pick it up, especially if you do a little bit of video on the side. You can use it for that buttery B-roll, especially with the IS built in. Other than that, I would say skip it, personally, especially if you already own that 35mm lens. That's all I have for this video. I hope you did enjoy. If you did like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. It does help. And until the next video, peace.